Robert, loved the session. I especially loved the happiness and the blind side part of it. You'll be surprised to know that DLC Forum has changed the format. There is a learning calendar for 12 months, which is mandated along with a forum facilitator. 30% of the learning time has to be given to happiness. So there are 12 days when we have forum meetings. 30% of the time goes to happiness. Our belief system and where it comes from, I'll share with you. Almost all of us want to die happy. I don't think anybody sitting in this room will say, I want to die sad. Everybody wants to die happy, right? Everybody wants to claim to know happiness. But have they ever understood or spent even a single day being trained for the subject of happiness? So something that they're going to lead a whole life in the quest for, they haven't spent a single day in their lives. So let's see a show of hands. How many people sitting here have gone through even one day of training for happiness? Wow. So out of about 60 people sitting here, there are 6 people around who've gone for a training of happiness. But the rest of the 90 people want to die happy. So without ever learning about happiness, we want to die happy. It's something for us to ponder on. I loved when you said about blindside. Most people are blindsided by the 70-80% of the emotions which are underlying situations below and do not allow themselves to surface up. A lot of coaching on happiness will help them to understand and see things with clarity. And dispassionately, when they see it with clarity with their forum, they get a chance to improve and work upon those things where they've been so far blindsided about. So loved your session, and we should discuss about happiness, what DLC is doing. We have a whole happiness community. I think we have about 80 members within our happiness committee worldwide. We plan to leverage on the strengths of the committee and create a 30% learning calendar on happiness, 30% on empathy, and remaining is to keep our members ahead of the curve. So we've planned 3 days in a year for every entrepreneur, professional, and young leader who joins DLC Forum. 3 days in a year are reserved for happiness. They may choose to do a full day session, 1 hour session, 2 hours, but every 3 months they do 1 day, one part of a forum meeting. External resource has to be happiness. It's wonderful speaking to you.
So if I can ask,
please do.
How are you trained? You seem extremely positive and happy. How are you trained in happiness?
Thank you, Robert. I create these things and I believe in them. My belief comes in from deep-rooted research. I implement them. When I see the visions come true, it gives me tremendous amount of happiness, because impacting and changing things that very senior people across the world have done so far, like YPO and EO for the last 25 years. But when you mandate a learning calendar and come up with a new way of thinking, it's going to impact people across the world. Now, forums across the world, someday, every forum in the world, whether it's EO, YPO, or DLC, will mandate 3 days of learning for every entrepreneur, every leader for happiness. And when I see that happening, it's going to make me a happy man.
Yeah, and it's a behavior also that's modeled for those of you that are parents. Like, it's a key lesson for your kids. One of the modalities that I practice, it's called positive psychology. It was developed in the year 2000 by Dr. Martin Seligman, who was the president of the American Psychological Association. He said all of psychology has been looking at what's wrong with people and how do we make them functional. What about what's right with people? What makes people thrive? What makes communities thrive? And it's a fascinating study that has influenced me in one of my 2 main area specialties.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you with us, and thank you for spending your valuable time. I look forward to our session and meeting up someday together in person. Till that time, we will make sure that your voice reaches out to the rest of the world in the world of forums on the DLC Forum platform. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for the honor. Bye-bye.